All right. Welcome. So,
Yo.
when people ask where anime started for me, I always think back to Akira.
Leave me alone!
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I remember watching it one night when we spent the night at your house. That was the first anime I had ever seen. And you were like, "Oh no, dude, you got to check this out." And I realized, at that point that it was not like any other cartoon that I had ever seen. It was like, wow, this is like brand new.
hmm
The violence in it, the graphics in it was really cool. Just the animation in general, the scene of the clown bikes and all that, with you sort of see the little laser effects as they're moving. That was just some incredible. It was an incredible thing at that age.
Yep, and plus it was all hand drawn. There wasn't any computer animation. Completely 100% hand drawn, which is still mind boggling to me.
Yeah, did you? I know the film was, it was a very adult themed, in that time and age, but it was one of those done in cartoon fashion the way it was in an animated fashion like that. Do you think it sort of made it better and easier for our parents to say, hey, yeah, okay, you can watch it? Or do you think it was one of those where, we probably shouldn't have been watching it?
I mean, let me see, because Akira came out in '88, and I think we didn't get it till about. Because I remember my older sister Carrie. The first time I saw Akira was a bootleg VHS that one of her other friends had gotten.
Okay.
Geez, I want to say that it was maybe a year later, or maybe even that same year. I forgot exactly when it was, but I remember we were in the living room in my old house in the living room, so we had the big projection.
Oh, the
big screen
Ivanhoe
TV.
house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had the big screen TV at that time.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember I was sitting in the kitchen because you could see perfectly from the kitchen into the living room. And I just sat down. I was eating a bowl of cereal and watching this, and I was like, "Oh, this! What the hell is this? What is going? This is a crazy cartoon." So then I remember asking after the movie was over and like everyone had left, I asked Carrie like, "Oh, like what was that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this Japanese cartoon called Akira." And I was like, "Yeah, is there like more?" So then that's where the itch came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I want to say unofficially the first anime I saw, because I remember when I was growing up.
So it was your first too.
Yeah, much earlier. I remember watching, stuff like there was Voltron.
Yeah.
And there was also, oh my goodness, I'm blanking out here. It's not Macross. It's
Robotech.
Robotech. Thank you. Oh my god, I can't believe I just blinked out on Robotech. But yeah, Robotech were the first officially two animes that I saw. I didn't know that they were called animes. Actually, at the time, they were.
Did you
called
ever
something
happen
else,
to see what was it, Battleship Yamamoto?
Battleship Yamamoto, I know was earlier. I didn't hear about it till much later.
So it's interesting because Battleship Yamamoto and Robotech, if you watch them, very close to the same lines.
I've heard that.
It is, but the stories are very, very close and resemble each other as well. Some of the characters you sort of like, interesting. But yeah, seeing, I remember seeing those as a kid, watching an episode or two on TV, but I didn't know it was animation. To me at that time, it was another cartoon.
Yeah, and that's the way it was sold. It was sold as a cartoon. It had like the style of it I had never seen before. I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is an animation I've never seen before. This is weird. It's not your standard type of animation. Because at the same time that Robotech and Voltron were out, you had He-Man, you had Thundercats, you had Silverhawks, you had all those classic cartoons on there all at the same time. So the animation style was definitely different from those other cartoons. And it was something that I had never seen before. And fast forward from that time all the way to Akira, it changed my life forever, because that was some wild stuff I saw at that age. I was probably about 11 or 12, and you could say I definitely shouldn't be watching it at that age, but I just could not take my eyes off of it. It was so different, so radically different.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I mean, I remember that was about the same age you showed it to me. And like I said, it happened to be at a sleepover, and I don't know if it was the bootleg one that your sister had, or if it was an actual copy, but
it was a copy that, because at that time, when I told my sister if there's any more, she had a subscription to Columbia House. Remember Columbia House?
Yeah.
Okay, so she
the buy one get like 15 free, and then if you didn't cancel, you would like end up paying like $30 for every tape.
Exactly. It was a crazy amount. So I remember on TV, I really remember that Columbia House was selling animes, and this is like the first time that any major company was bringing over these animes.
Right.
So then what I remember is like there was this, like as soon as Akira came out, or that bootleg came out, like maybe a couple weeks later, I see this commercial for Columbia House, and I was like, what? Like I just saw this cartoon, and now they're selling it at Columbia House. So I told my sister Carrie, and she put on her credit card, and like every month we got a new anime, and the first one that they were selling was Akira, and that's the one I showed you. It would be called today. It's called an OVA, which whatever. But anyway,
well, if you think about it, an OVA is it's that original video. It's something that was a concept that they just never took. I mean, there was a lot of good OVAs out there.
Right.
So the OVA was an actual concept of their anime development and anime studios.
So yeah, that's where my love of anime came in.
Yeah, and see, and as I said, you're the one who introduced it to me. You're the one who brought me to everything that anime was. The first one was Akira. Next one after that, I think, if I remember correctly, was Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, and I think that was I want to say that was either the second or third tape we got was Vampire Hunter D.
So it's like as you were getting them, I'm watching them with you.
Exactly. And they just got wilder and wilder. Like
Ninja Scroll.
Oh my god, Ninja Scroll was
that was a pretty graphic one.
So I remember buying that. I bought that one. Ninja Scroll was the one I bought because like after my sister had canceled her subscription because it was getting way too expensive, and I don't blame her at all for that. And we had a couple of tapes, but then once I started working, there was a gap. There was a big gap where I didn't see anime for a while because again I was too young and I wasn't working at the time, and I was just going to school. But after I got out of school, I was working, and I would go to Suncoast, and Suncoast was the major place that you'd go to get your anime.
Right.
So I used to go buy it, and I remember buying Ninja Scroll. Oh man, I love Ninja Scroll.
So we never rented that one at Blockbuster or Major Players or anything, because I remember watching that one when we were younger.
Yeah. No, because I had the VHS. I had the VHS for it. Okay. And I remember I showed you and Vinny. Ninja Scroll.
Okay, maybe that's what it was then.
And I remember Vinny went crazy for it. Like she was just like, I remember showing it to her, and she's like, "Could you rewind that and we could just watch it again?"
Right, but see, and that's the funny thing is because that's what got her into it, and then it turns out that Laura was into it also.
Mm-hmm.
So it made it good because she was able to talk with Laura about some of the other ones that Laura watched.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's where just like our anime exposure, just those 80s and 90s classic, the golden era of anime, well, I consider it.
Yeah.
And Ninja Scroll, Vampire Hunter D, Akira, and then of course, I think one of the ones that we did get in. No, I never owned Fist of the North Star. I had to rent.
You rented that one?
Yeah, I remember looking at, because my first exposure to Fist of the North Star actually was through a video game that I didn't know was Fist of the North Star.
Nice.
It was an old NES side scroller, and I remember playing this game, and I remember like it was Kenshiro, punching or kicking these dudes, and they would blow up. I'm like, this is a weird game.
So did you rent that video game, or did you own it?
No, actually, a friend of ours, a friend of the family, had that game, and it said on the cover of it, Fist of the North Star. I'm like, this is interesting. So then I would play it, and yeah, that's what it was. It was just Kenshiro going through the wasteland kicking ass. And later on, when I rented it from Hollywood Video, shout out RIP Hollywood Video, but I remember getting that movie from Hollywood Video and watching it, and I was just like, wait a second, this is like the game that I remember playing back in the day, and this is the anime.
Yeah.
And that anime was super violent.
Nice.
Oh,
See,
man, yeah.
And that's funny because I remember renting a few at Blockbuster, or it might have been even Hollywood Video. I think at the time.
Yeah.
That
was
like I remember. I think was it The Professional?
Go 13, The Professional.
Yeah. Go 13. That one was an interesting one.
You showed me that one. You rented that one, and you showed me.
Okay.
I remember going over to your house when we were watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. This is a good anime. I like this. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
See, and it's funny because there was, like I said, there was a few as I was younger that I saw that I didn't realize they were anime. They weren't. No one referred to them as anime. Like after you told me about it, it was that's when I started hearing more Japanimation.
Yeah, an unfortunate name, but yeah, that's the way it was known. That's the way.
But it was known because that's where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
For most of us who it was brought over here to the United States, it was this different animation that the studios here didn't make. The studios here didn't create. It came from Japan, and so that's how it got labeled.
That's why you go to Suncoast or you go to Columbia House, and they costed so much because they were called, they were imports. So
they were considered import videos.
Yeah, so like those initial, I remember the initial price for Akira at that time, because it was like the entry video for it. I think it was like $20.
Right.
But then each video after that was like almost 40.
Yeah, it was like $29.99 or 30, $35.99.
$40, because I remember Carrie telling me, she's like, these goddamn tapes are costing me a lot. I'm like, it costed 40. Now then, at the time I didn't want to cancel it, but
right.
In the long run, looking at it, I'm like,
it's understandable. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was because I remember doing some. I don't remember if it was Columbia House, but it was one like it after I started working, and it was like DVDs, and I got a few that were that way, and it was like $35.95 for each one, but I was able to get like one at like $20, and then I got, I think, 5 additional ones for free, and then after that I got one each month for like $35.95, and I was just like, wow, and I only did it for like 6 months, and finally I was just like, no, I need to cancel, I'm done. Like I was like, it's too much. And at that time I was 18, out of high school, like just fresh out of high school, so I was working at like Savers, and it just was making hardly any money. It was just like, no.
Right. No, so yeah, but like but then when Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, when they started carrying anime, that's when my whole world just started to expand even more. And I rented the Guyver, and the Guyver, I love the freaking Guyver.
See, I don't remember that one.
Okay, so the Guyver it's a mobile suit, and like there are these interdimensional monsters that are already here on Earth, and they're already like in hiding, and they're trying to take over the world, right? But the only thing that can stop them is the Guyver suit. So it looks like this little silver ball looking thing in this plate, and this guy, he's able to inherit this bodysuit, and it's just him destroying these monsters left and right.
Hello, white.
And yeah, it was just crazy. What up, yo? So yeah, it was just this guy in this mobile suit destroying these monsters left and right. I forgot how many volumes of the Guyver there was, but yeah, again, ultra violent, over the top violence, over the top voice acting, but so much fun just to see, like, their arms rip off, the cut off, and just exploding. It was wild. It really was.
See, and it's like, then I think of a few other ones like Lupin
the Third. Yes.
Lupin the Third. That one was hilarious. I mean, they did so well with it. They did. I mean, if you look at the color, you look at how the color is so immense. They do such a good job in the shading, in the full daylight type scenes. It was just so well done, and then the artwork was great. It was done so well. Mm-hmm. But then you have the characters that you just fall in love with. Mm-hmm. And that's what draws you in, is you just see crazy things happen. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you get drawn into that story. And that was one of those, once again, OVA type thing.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the Lupin series is that it's based on a French book that was written back in my goodness, when was it written? My goodness, it was written a long time ago, but yeah, it was based on a book written by Maurice Leblanc. That's the name of the author, and he wrote these different adventures of this character named Lupin. And yeah, it's very interesting that the Japanese would actually have this character or take on this character, and he did look of the Japanese. He did look Japanese, of course, and even though it's based on this French character. But yeah, I remember not that long ago, Netflix, they did a Lupin series.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was a Lupin series with a character with a French African person that was doing the character.
Okay, so it was a live action?
Yeah, live action. It's really good.
Interesting.
It's really good. Yeah.
Is it still on Netflix?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Netflix produced, so it's gonna be definitely still on Netflix.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Absolutely.
I finally got Netflix, so I gotta check that out.
Good, but yeah, it was very interesting because anime, they draw from different sources, and of course, the original source material for anime is actually, and sadly, was World War II. That's where the original anime concept came from, was from World War II.
Oh, okay.
After the fallout and everything, right. It was, I forget the complete story about it, but that's where you have, your mobile suits, your giant monsters.
Right.
Even the concept of Godzilla came from the nuclear fallout. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was just it's sad, but at the same time, they looked past what was a sad situation and an unfortunate situation, and we got from it some great commentary.
We got some amazing stories, amazing commentary, amazing just animation in general. Mm-hmm. And definitely.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean,
now, once we know where to look, certain titles, they stopped being just random rentals, became one that we definitely chased and were after. Is ones that Ghost in the Shell, for example.
Yeah.
I know Ghost in the Shell was one of those. I think, where did we watch that one? Did we watch that in high school?
Oh my goodness, Ghost in the Shell. Where did we see that one? I want to say...
All right, so back to Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, so yeah, where did we watch Ghost in the Shell?
You know what? I don't remember.
For some reason, I can't remember. I remember I remember I've seen it at my house when we were on Breckenridge. I remember we watched it there at one point, but I seem to remember watching it like my freshman year in ROTC.
So I think somebody had a copy of Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. And I'm pretty sure someone from ROTC did have it, and I was shocked because I was like, finally someone with good taste.
Right.
Because I remember at the same time with Ghost in the Shell, Dragon Ball Z was exploding.
Right. And that's I think we watched Tree of Light.
Right. And
on like a Friday.
And I remember when Toonami, when they were introducing Dragon Ball Z to us, I remember at school there were a couple of guys that watch Dragon Ball Z religiously on Cartoon Network. And I remember coming home from school and tuning into channel 32, specifically on channel 32, because they would play back to back episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
And yeah,
what was 32?
It was a Spanish channel.
Okay.
So channel 32, so just for the people that don't know, here in El Paso, because we're so close to Ciudad Juarez, which is Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, we get a lot of their channels over here. So we get like TV Azteca, and we get
UPN used to be one, right? Like, or not UPN.
Now it is. Now the UPN that here was channel 48. Now it's Telemundo.
Yeah, Telemundo. There we go.
But we get we also have Univision, and specifically TV Azteca had a lot of really good anime that they would import over here, but we'll get to that later. But channel 32 was a channel that didn't have any specification. It wasn't it was almost like a Spanish UHF channel.
Okay.
So then what would happen was that they would show these cartoons on channel 32, and again, back to back to back. It was the original music, original artwork,
nice,
of Dragon Ball Z. So I would watch 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Z every day, as to opposed to waiting 1 episode per week, and then they would have their season finale and then wait for like almost an entire year for the next episode, right? Or the next series. But no, like these guys would play back to back to back 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and I could finish a season or 2 or 3 in the span of like 6 weeks. Yeah,
wow.
So like I would spoil these guys. I would tell them, oh yeah, this character dies and that guy dies, and then this killer, and they were so pissed. But because they were dicks to me, I was dicks right back to them. So yeah, I would tell them like, why don't you just watch channel 32? I was like, we don't speak Spanish. I'm like, well, I do, so go yourself. But no, so back to Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, like those guys were assholes. So I was just like an asshole right back to them. I said, fuck
well,
you.
I mean, it's exactly. You gotta give it, you gotta take it.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Sorry.
So it was Dragon Ball Z, and then there was another anime that was on Saturdays on TV Azteca when I was younger too. So it was called Los Caballeros del Zodiaco, which is translated
Cowboys
to
of the Zodiac?
The Gentlemen of the Zodiac, or it's also known as Saint Seiya.
Okay.
And Saint Seiya was an anime that was based on the Zodiac, of course, of the Greek Zodiac.
Okay.
So you would have these characters that would be dressed in these armor, like the Pegasus armor, dragon armor, swan, and they had like the different constellations, and they were they had, of course, different seasons of this. And that was another anime that I
never saw that one.
I loved Saint Seiya. It's available. It should be available on Amazon. Check Amazon Prime, or even on, I want to say, Netflix.
Cool.
And
no, I never saw that one.
And if you could afford it, Crunchyroll.
I have Crunchyroll actually, so that means there we go.
Yes.
So
go see it on Crunchyroll.
Now that's something. That's a topic we should go ahead and get into.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, anime wasn't something that was available like it is now. I mean, now we can find it. There's Crunchyroll. Was it H Dive? I think is another one.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 2 or 3 different ones that you can pay and have access to anime.
Right.
Where back then it was so much harder to find it. It was, Suncoast Video was where you could buy it. You were lucky if you could find it at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, because most of the time it was all gone. Right. Except for those ones that had like a weird looking one, or it was it was like Hello Kitty.
All right.
Like it was, and so it was a much different, way, where nowadays, we have that, with Crunchyroll. I've actually found some pretty good ones on Crunchyroll.
Uh-huh.
So it was so much harder back then, and it's really cool that we were able to get so much, because a lot of times I know you were able to find some of yours, even, down in Mexico, right? Down in Ciudad Juarez?
No, actually, what I had to do was I had to do a lot of digging. I had to do a lot of searching, because
back in comic books.
Yeah, and because in Juarez they would have it on TV. They would show a lot of the animes on TV.
Right.
So like I was able to see a lot of them on TV and understand them because they were translated. So yeah, just that import from that Spanish TV, because I also saw the original Dragon Ball. Okay. I saw, let me see, I already mentioned Dragon Ball Z, Saint Seiya. Oh, and there's a soccer one that's very popular. It was called, in Spanish they call it Super Campeones, but that's actually called Captain Tsubaya.
Okay. Tell me about that one. I think I might have seen that one actually recently.
Right. So Captain Tsubaya is about this team. It's this little junior soccer team from Japan.
Right.
And they're led by this guy, Captain Tsubaya, who has this just this ability to lead others, to be, to inspire them to be somebody, like, to be bigger than themselves, right? And they face off against these over-the-top villains, these over-the-top soccer player villain kids, right?
And it's like a soccer game?
Yeah, you have like this goalie, this gigantic goalie who was like, he looked like E Honda from Street Fighter big.
Okay.
That's how big this kid was, and he was supposed to be like the best. He was the best goalie there because he was so big and agile and everything. Then they have these twins that were these strikers that would do these crazy attacks. And then they had another player that could kick the ball really hard. Like, he would do the special pose, this hawk pose, to kick the ball extremely hard. So like there was these over the top characters, right?
It's not the one I watched then, but yeah, definitely. Tell me more. I'm loving it.
So then it was always, and like they were always like over the top. So like every loss of possession was like, oh, like they would like,
it was all heartbreaking.
This is doomed for our team, blah blah. Like it was just this back and forth interaction.
Wow.
It was fun to watch though.
That's cool.
That's as goofy as it was a lot of fun to watch.
See, but that says a lot about it though. Is it's that animation that really the storyline, the characters, the whole drawing aspect of it, or drawn aspect of it, because a lot of these were they were hand drawn.
Yeah,
and
what's so interesting about anime though is like, because they're undertones. They had a lot of undertones in these animes where they would pull a lot of history or a lot of things in and put them into the anime.
See, and that's like one that I fell in love with. And I think you were the one who told me about it, and I ended up having to find it at that, was Record of Lotus Wars.
And that one, I love that anime. I love that, but I remember I bought from Best Buy the entire set on DVD.
Nice.
And it costed me, I think at that time, $89.99.
Yeah.
And my ex-girlfriend Julie borrowed it and never gave it back.
Mom.
So, Julie, if for some reason you're listening to this, I want my DVDs back.
There we go. Yeah, but like that was one of them that I, definitely fell in love with. The storylines were good. It was drawn, well. And you really do fall in love with those characters. The little elf chick was great.
Yep, Parn, and for some reason I'm blanking out on her name too. I know I've seen these before. I know it's just like a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. But I specifically remember Parn because they would yell his name out like every 2 seconds. It felt like Deedly.
Let's see, Parn. Well, see Parn, and then Deedit or Deedlit.
Yeah,
I think so. And then Gim.
Okay, yeah. And it's interesting in fact that Gim is in fact they shortened the name from Gimli to Gim from Lord of the Rings. Because of his character. So yeah, the character Gim is actually based off Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Gotcha. Okay, it makes sense. That perfect thinking. It's a perfect way to draw people to it. And now, would you consider this one of the best fantasy animes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you see the inspirations of the Record of the Lotus Wars, it's heavily inspired, of course, by of course like this high fantasy world. So like, yeah, they had elves, they had dragons. Yeah, they had magicians, dark elves. They had all kinds of. Yeah, they had almost everything in there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, no, definitely, I would definitely agree with that. Now, one of the ones that I actually fell in love with, and it's that same type as you sort of just fall in love with the characters, was Crying Freeman.
Yep, that's a classic too. Yep.
That one was just, you really do fall in love with this character, and you see this character, for what he is. He's an assassin. But he falls in love with this girl and, is in love with her, but has to live the assassin life and, will do anything to protect the girl.
Right.
And, it's like every time, like, she's the only one who has really ever seen him do what he does. I definitely think it, is another one of those that I don't know if it's just the way it's done, like, or if it's more the story. It just draws you in so well.
Right. No, yeah, and that's the thing that anime does though so well, is that it creates these characters in this very short amount of time that you care about, and that's something that's very rare. Because I remember watching Vampire Hunter D. And how much of a badass vampire hunter, like how much that character D, how much of a badass he is. But he also has, but like they also humanize him, even though he's half vampire, half human, or dumb peel is the reference that they use. And how much you can actually care for this character, because I know that when I introduced that anime to Vinny, she really cared about that character a lot.
Right.
I mean, a lot. So like, it really impacted her when he had his the scenes with the girl, the love interest in the movie, and when he initially has like his death scene in it.
Right.
Spoiler alert for y'all, but he has that. Yeah, you really feel it though, because like it's this guy that feels his vulnerability for the first time. And he goes through that death, and such an interesting character. I mean, who comes up with a parasite hand? Seriously, who?
Yeah, no, it is. It's ingenious, and that was one of those. I got introduced to at a young age. By you. I think you were the same thing. I think it was one of those nights at your place.
Yeah, and it's gothic horror, futuristic gothic horror, because that is supposed to be like, I think it's supposed to be like 20,000, not 2,000, like 20,000. So it's supposed to be like 8,000 years in the future.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be like some crazy number like that. So yeah, it's such an interesting character that is, because it's just a perfect blend of gothic horror and futuristic, where, and it's told so well that, you know, this character D, this loner, this dumb peel that goes to the world. Have you ever read the novels before?
Mm-mm.
So here it is. Just like,
it is confirmed.
yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Very cool.
So yeah, you could get this. It's available at Barnes and Noble.
Okay. See, that's funny because I've got the Akira. I've got the first I've got 3 or 4 of the Akira graphic novels, and I got those when I was in Orlando when I was doing the college program. I found them at Virgin Megastore.
You told me about that. I remember you telling me about that.
And it was just one of those where I was like, oh wow, and that's where I really got introduced to the manga graphic novel side of things more than just the I had heard about the books and seen them, but I was like, where this is where I was like, oh wow, these are ones that I had never seen, and I was like, wait, I've seen this movie, let me read the graphic novel, and wow, yeah.
So just to let you know, little side note here. So the artwork here is by the same guy that did the artwork for Final Fantasy. So yeah, there you go.
For the game or for the
game. So it's his name is Yoshitaka Amano.
Okay.
So yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
No, but you know what, the movies they opened the door for us, you know, but as you've definitely shown also, you know, television is where we actually, you know, saw these characters week after week. You know, they were the ones that, you know, these were the things that kept us coming back, you know, weekly. So I mean, I remember stuff like Cowboy Bebop.
That was the big one that really introduced a lot of people into anime.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people didn't get anime at the time when Cowboy Bebop came out, because during that time there was Dragon Ball Z that was on Cartoon Network on Toonami. So it was that. Then there was also Trigun.
Yes.
And
Trigun was another one. Ranma 1/2.
Ranma 1/2, yeah, that's another one. And then all of a sudden, here comes this anime called Cowboy Bebop, and just that opening song, it draws you in. That it's called Tank. That's the name of the song, Tank, and it just draws you in, and it's just pulpy. It catches you, that jazzy sound, and you're just drawn in immediately, and you're just like, okay, this is cool. I have to see what this is all about. And that's the first thing I hear about people that when they're introduced to anime, they say Cowboy Bebop, and it's because that song is iconic, so iconic.
Cowboy Bebop was just a great anime. It was, you know, I loved the character, you know. It was
Spike Spiegel, Spike Spiegel, absolutely.
You know,
it's just one of those.
Spike was great, and just the whole sound of it in general. You're right, that jazzy sound, just it brings you in, and you're just like, oh, whoa, let's see what goes on.
Yeah. I mean, Jet Black also a memorable character. Valentine. I mean, they just had a lot of characters that you cared about that just really grounded the series, because, you know, even though it's outer space, even though it's like supposed to be not that distant in the future, but still futuristic, but still keeping it that pulpy classic noir sense.
Yeah, right. It's that noir, that almost like, what would you say, like maybe like almost like 50s noir style.
Yeah, exactly. That noir style wrapped up in this futuristic, and that's the thing about that's so great about anime, is that they could blend these different genres together and make almost a new genre altogether. Where Akira, for example, it's cyberpunk. I really give Akira being the one to really push the cyberpunk genre even further.
Yeah, it's what started that push.
Yeah, because like, you know, you had Blade Runner, of course. Blade Runner was, I forget which one of the two is the influences each other. I think it's Blade Runner influenced a lot of Akira, or is it Akira that influenced
You know what I've heard?
Blade Runner.
I've heard about it on another podcast, but I can't think off the top of my head about it. But I definitely agree. It was, you can definitely see the influence in each of them, which makes it, I think even better. It just makes it that classic, just that top number one. Hey, you know what? This is what started it, and this is why I remember it.
Yeah, because I know that with the cyberpunk, it was heavily influenced by a book called Neuromancer, which I did read, and it's a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. Neuromancer, yeah. So Neuromancer.
Who's the author of that one? It sounds familiar.
William Gibson.
Okay, yep. That explains why it sounded familiar.
So then Neuromancer was the one that kicked off this cyberpunk, but it was definitely Akira and all those that really pushed that cyberpunk influence even
genre.
farther. Exactly. And then you had, of course, the other genre that I'm thinking of course, in the Cowboy Bebop. You could kind of call it cyberpunk, but I more call it it's more pulpy, like a pulpy noir.
Okay.
That's what I consider it. So yeah, their ability to just really blend these different genres and make these other genres just always so interesting with anime.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Now here's another one that I think about, and I just loved the character. And I'll mention the character's name, and it'll pop your head right into your head pretty quickly. Though is Vash the Stampede.
Trigun.
Yes.
Trigun
was great. It was
Trigun,
and the story was funny. It was that comedy, just comedy to tragedy tonal shift of everything for Vash. That, oh my God, this happened, but he makes this whole big joke out of it. And it's like, it was great. I loved the character in general is what drew me so much to that anime.
Right. And again, with Trigun, they blended, wasteland. It's a wasteland western, which is
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, and if you want to even call it a spaghetti western, I wouldn't. Yeah. I would not argue that at all.
No, I would say post-apocalyptic western.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic spaghetti western.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the other characters in Trigun, what's his name again? He carried the giant cross. Close. Nicholas D. Wolfwood, I think, is the character's name. Nicholas D. Wolfwood, that's the name of the character.
Okay.
That character was actually based on the original Django.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the original Django, that character, he carried a giant crucifix, and in that giant crucifix was a machine gun.
Okay.
So then that's what he carried around, because there was this big machine gun that he would a Gatling gun to be exact. That's what he carried around. So yeah, the Wolfwood character is based on Django. That's why it's Nicholas D, because the D in Django is silent. So yeah, that's why the character in there. So it's always interesting how they pull this. Yeah.
Then you fall in love with the two little insurance girls. I think is what they were, right? Meryl and Millie.
They were reporters.
They were reporters. Okay.
Yeah, but because they heard about Vash the Stampede. That's how it is.
Yeah, no, I just remember them sort of following Vash everywhere that he was.
Right.
And it's one of those you've got to love the perkiness of them, to say the least.
Yeah, they're in this crazy world, this crazy post-apocalyptic world where it's this. You could say he's a dorky character, Vash. This clueless hero that doesn't know what's going on around him.
Right.
That's able to just gun down all these enemies at whenever he wants in this goofy manner. It's just, that's why you gotta fall in love with the character, because he's just this.
But he's such a pacifist. He doesn't ever want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to bother anybody. And for him, it's always love and peace. It's. But then when it comes down to it, what he's known for is.
And that's an interesting character study because, like, I mean, when you look at today's standard, you see these kids, and I don't want to sound like an asshole. I really don't, but this is what my view is. That you see these kids, and like I'm all up for peace and love. I'm all up for that. But when the time comes when someone needs to get their asses handed to them, you hand them their ass. I don't care what the situation is. When it comes, you can only get pushed so far until you finally say, just take the gloves off.
Correct, but that goes into the debate of, should you teach your child that it's okay to hit back if you are struck? Because there's this whole debate, and you see it on TikTok, you see it on Instagram about stop teaching your kids to hit back if someone strikes them. And it's like, why? I'm sorry, if someone strikes my child, I expect my child to defend herself. Now, if someone strikes them and my child beats the shit out of them, that's their fault because my child knew what she was doing.
Exactly. And it's interesting because, like, it's almost on a, and I don't want to get biblical, but it's on a biblical sense, because I think you have had this discussion before.
Probably.
Where I know that you went to a private school, and they told you, if they strike you, you turn the other cheek. Mm-hmm. But what if they strike that cheek too?
Bro, dude, you know what? That is not a debate between you and me at all. I completely asked that question while I was going to school. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. With the anime, with Trigun, it really does, you fall in love with Vash because he is not a violent character. He is not this, shoot first, ask questions later. He is like, hey, look, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to go on my way. This is all I want to do.
Exactly. You go your way, I go my way. We don't bother each other. But if you bother me...
Right, but when he has to, he defends himself.
Exactly, he defends himself, and that's such an interesting character study to see this character of Vash the Stampede, because obviously he's built it's this perception of public where they see this guy as this ultra-violent character, but when you actually meet this guy, he's just this, he wants to enjoy life, even though what's going around him is not the best, but it's this character that he just wants to be left alone, that doesn't want to cause any trouble.
Yeah,
but
he wants no drama.
Exactly, he doesn't want any drama. He'll fight when it's the absolute last option. Mm-hmm. And it's such an interesting character to watch, because if you can install this with some of these kids, then I don't think we'll have these debates anymore online about this stupid whatever. Raising a kid.
I completely understand.
Yeah,
but going off of like Trigun and those characters who you do fall in love with like that, mm-hmm. And I mean, they draw you in so well. How about Kiki's Delivery Service?
Kiki's Delivery Service, that's a great anime. That's a fantastic anime.
What did you like about it so much?
What can I bring into this? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's been a while since I've actually seen Kiki's, and I tried to watch it again just as a refresher, and I just never got to it. But
I bring it up because I've actually watched it recently with Milo.
Good, good. I think it's a good anime. Yeah,
it is one of those, like, you've got to love this little witch who's leaving, to discover herself, and then all the little trouble she gets to along the way.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's a show of like growth and independence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that coming of age story.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is, and it's an anime. It's done through anime, and you get this through movies. But I think in movies sometimes it's a hit or miss. And in this movie, in Kiki's Delivery Service, it really does nail that independence, that growth. That I think I think it's a great movie to show your kids if they're growing up and they want to be that independent. I think it's a great movie to show them.
Yeah, and that's one of those where like you sort of see it both in the episodic shows, you see it, and then in the movies you see it too. So it makes that like where there's so much to be able to really enjoy, that it's such a big genre of movies. And it explains why it has become such a major genre of movies nowadays.
And it's interesting because you could look at Kiki's Delivery Service and you could see some influence in his Dark Materials, where it's this character that goes out on herself, just like the character in his Dark Materials, and she takes her in her Dark Materials. They're called demons. These pets, or yeah. But in Kiki's Delivery Service, it's a familiar,
right?
Like a spirit animal. So you can see these influences that are from these animes, and they go into these other books like his Dark Materials, or like Mad Max is also another influence in for these post-apocalyptic movies as well. So like you see these different genres. Like I'm telling you before, that's the great thing about anime is like they take these little things here and there from different genres, or they influence these different movies. Because I'll tell you what, right now, one of the things that you could see that's heavily influenced in other movies is that bike slide from Akira, Kaneda's bike slide. You can see that in a ton, in so many movies, specifically most recently in Nope, where it's his sister that does the bike glide. When I saw that, I was like, I see what you did there. I know what you did.
Right, exactly.
So it's these different influences that you see, that it's either one influences the other, but you still see it, and it's just like these people that have seen anime and are drawn by it and absolutely are captivated by it, that they're so heavily influenced by it that they'll put it in their movies in some form.
Yeah, because some of these shows, they entertained us, but others, they made us think about the identity, and technology. And it showed us what the future maybe is doing to humanity, if you think about it. If you look at how technology nowadays is becoming and what it's becoming.
Right.
So then we come into like the cyberpunk side of things, where you've got movies like Ghost in the Shell.
And Ghost in the Shell is such an interesting concept, because it's this anime that is blending these cybernetic organisms, these cyborgs, basically is what they are.
Right.
And it's just that ultimate question, though: can a robot have a soul?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the ultimate question. That's the ultimate question in this movie. So, I mean, when you see how AI is being built right now, and you're seeing where it's going, it's just like, well, does it have a soul? Doesn't it have a soul? Is it just a program? Can it think that? Can it think
so think highly? For itself?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just that existential question where, does it? I mean, it all starts again with like Blade Runner, or if robots dream of electronic sheep.
Right.
With Philip K. Dick's great novel.
Well, and it's what inspired The Matrix.
Yeah, so like you see, the Wachowskis, they wanted to make a live action anime, and they did, with at least the first one, because of the sequels. Anyway, we won't get into that.
Well,
but it's just that it's always been that question, though, that existential question, and that's the great thing about anime, though, is that because they explore those questions. It splinters off into different answers,
Right.
but ultimately they're trying to answer that question, because like that's why you have Ghost in the Shell, that's why you have Akira, that's why you have, oh my goodness, City Hunter, and then you have Silent Mobius, another great anime, Silent Mobius, Angel Cop. I mean, you have all these different animes that are going splintering off into these off of one question.
Well, and would you consider that question more of what is the meaning of identity in a world where bodies and minds can be replaced?
Exactly. And and that's what they try and do. They try and answer these questions, these existential questions with different animes. There's just not just one specific anime. There are just so many different ones that can answer that. It's like, okay, you have a question about this, how about this? You have a question about that? Okay, here's this one. You could reference these animes,
right?
And you could see they're trying to answer this question, and you're just like, oh, okay, no, that's an interesting point, and that's an interesting point over there too. So it's just like these different splinters of these different questions that about existentialism and about life and technology, and can it coexist?
Oh yeah.
And it's,
but see, and then you think about the scenes in that anime.
Mm-hmm.
You think about like the whole spider tank battle scene.
Right. Okay.
That was an incredible scene. It was done so well, and the scene in that same part where she is pulling off the lid of it, and you see the arms just shredding and tearing and everything like that. I mean, and the way these animators just designed it to, you could almost feel it.
Yeah. And that's what I think a lot of people try and shy away from, is the gore. But it's not a sense of like gore to show gore. It's not gore just for the sake of gore. It's gore because it has meaning behind it.
Right.
It has because they want you to feel that, because a great example of it is also like Quentin Tarantino. Like when he shows his gore, it's not just to be gory or bloody. It's because you want to feel that. You want to feel that visceral reaction. You want to get that visceral reaction, and that's what a lot of anime has.
And they do the same thing. Another one like that is Battle Angel Elite.
There you go, Battle Angel Elite. Yeah. So before there was the movie, which I really did like. I really liked that movie.
The movie was very well done.
Even though it didn't, it was basically a flop. I didn't care. I liked the movie because it was actually a very good remake of the actual anime. And the anime is really short too, but they were able to expand the world. But yeah, it's the same question. Here's this robot that was built for war, doesn't have any memory of it.
Right.
But when she does gain that memory, what's she gonna do with it? What is the question? It's like, am I this, or am I this, or am I both? It's just that, it's that question. Again, about who am I? And again, it's just one of those other animes that it's like, okay, here's another answer. Here's another answer for it.
Yeah, and it was if you look at it, both of them. The way they did those animes and the way they were able to portray these aspects, you really think about it, and it's like, wow, you sort of question which of those is a possibility nowadays, really. Both of them, if you really think about it.
Yeah. And ultimately, though, what's it gonna lead to? What's it gonna be? And one of those other animes that really questions, like where we're going, is Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah. No, very much so.
And Mobile Suit Gundam asked that question, how far is war willing to go? And in Gundam, you see this constant theme of it, where you see these kids, and it's always kids in these mobile suits. And that's where the atomic bomb comes from. This is where Gundam comes from. And it's, these these. You see at first these giant robots going against each other. It's it's the Earth Alliance and this other. I forget the name of the other alliance that the Gundams come from, but it's this constant fight. But again, you see the Earth Alliance. Who are they? They're the adults. But then you see these other ones, the Gundams. They're always driven by kids.
Right.
And that's the question that they're asking. It's like, how far are you willing to fight for your freedom? How far down the list do we have to go in war where it finally gets to where it's gonna be a children's war? And that's what it is. That's what that question is. And it's a fantastic look into it, because when you see today, like for example, the same questions asked for like Attack on Titan.
Right.
Attack on Titan has that same question.
That's a good, that's a good, another one to think about even like today would be, but yeah, how far are you willing to go? It's the one with the brother and his sister, and the sister's like a demon. Yes,
I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll get to that eventually, but go ahead. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I was saying is, how far are you willing to go to survive? And how far are you willing to go to protect your siblings?
Demon Slayer,
thank you. Yes, that is the one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's these questions, of how far, that you're willing to go, but you can interpret it in different ways, and that's the thing that that's what's great about anime as well, is that you can interpret it differently. You have different questions, but it's always drawing those questions, those necessities that you need to bring, that I think a lot of people stray away from. Like Ranma half, for example, you could look at that one and you can incorporate it today, where it's like, a guy turns into a girl turns into a guy. Where does that sound familiar from?
If you think about it, I mean, with Ranma, it was one of those where, did it push aspects back then? I don't think so. I mean, really,
I don't think that was the intent. I don't think that was
it was never the intent. I sort of liked the way they did it, because of course you had Ranma, and anytime he gets wet, he turns into a female. And so think about how odd that would be if you're normally a guy, and anytime you get wet, you become a girl.
Yeah, and it's those undertones that you can look at it and you can make your own interpretation.
Right.
Yeah, and Ranma half was always an interesting anime, because you could look at that and you just like, you can interpret it as many ways as you want,
but the story was well done.
I mean, and that's the thing though, like they didn't make it the emphasis of it.
Exactly.
It was just part of it. They didn't just throw it in your face like they normally do today. But it's, again.
See, and that was one of those, I think a friend of mine actually introduced me to that one, who I played paintball with. Mm-hmm. He was one who introduced me to it. In fact, he gave me the DVD box set. Mm-hmm. And if you ever want it back, let me know. I don't remember if you gave it to me or if you lent it to me, but I still have it. But yeah. It was just, you really did, and I think the story was just so well done. You really didn't care about the other aspect of it, of the whole male to female jumping back and forth thing. You really didn't. Mm-hmm. It was just part of the story. It wasn't anything that was thrown directly into your face.
Right.
It just made the story have those little bits of complication that it needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it didn't make it the center of it.
Right.
It was just an aspect of it. It was just interesting where you just look at it by today's concepts, and it's just interpret it the way you want, basically. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But what about you? What other ones do you remember that were, in that cyberpunk type ones? You mentioned a few that I don't remember, so you would definitely have some more knowledge on those.
I'm just trying to go off the top of my head, but I mean, there's also Black Magic M66.
Okay, yeah, that's another one. I did not recognize that one.
Yeah, so Black Magic, it was pre Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
And what it is a rogue robot built by the military that's trying to eliminate its target. Now then, with
So
this
it's AI?
one, yeah, it's basically AI. So yeah, so it's this robot.
So was that one a movie or was that one considered like
It's a movie. It's a
Okay.
short movie.
Okay.
It's
So-
only like almost 48 minutes or 50 minutes, something like that.
Okay, so that was more
It's
like
a
an OVA then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember it kind of being like Terminator-esque. And
So let's see, Black Magic 66.
66, yeah.
66, okay. So a reporter races against time to stop a rogue military android programmed to eliminate its target. This one came out before Ghost in... Okay. Not sure. So characters were Ferris and Sybil.
And someone called the Major, which is, I mean, that was also the name of the character in Ghost of the Shell.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you see, there's a lot of things that end up.
It'll be one that we'll come back to.
I know there's other ones that I remember.
Okay, so you know what? Let's think about some of those older ones that would be maybe along those lines. Would you consider Appleseed?
Yeah, Appleseed is interesting because they use a lot of they have, again, it's that android aspect where it has, I believe the android's name is Andros. It's like this love story between these two. It's this city called Olympus. That's, remember, because it's supposed to be like the peak. It's supposed to be like the peak of technology, where humans and technology are both together. They call it Olympus, and it's this plot to, I think it's either destroy the city or destroy the symbolism of the city, something like that. And yeah, I remember it because the robot in it, I think his name was Andros. It looks a lot like some of the robots you see influenced by Neil Blomkamp. It looks a lot like Chappie. That's what it is. It looks like if you ever seen the movie Chappie, that's how they look like, with the antenna ears and everything. It's just always interesting because, it's this city that has, again, it's blended together with this technology and humans. And there's always this one person that wants to destroy that piece, that wants to destroy that because he sees technology poisoning the human race. And that's what it's about. It's where he sees it as himself. It's his own personal view that technology is poisoning the human society, because you see, again, this android and this person working together to destroy or to catch this criminal. And it's interesting because you hear how technology will benefit us, and you see this technology will either do one of these two things. And in this world that they built, they have that question. It's like, they're existing, but what if, there's that one person that wants to, tear it apart? So again, it's that question: can we coexist with technology? Can we evolve with it? Can we live with it? It's always that question that Appleseed brings. That's interesting because there have been some variations of Appleseed already where it could go one way or the other. And yeah, Appleseed, that's a good one. Appleseed. Then there's Bubblegum Crisis also. Bubblegum Crisis is one of those as well that's the same thing, where it's these group of people that are coming together to face this existential question of, can we exist with this technology that's just tearing the humans apart? And it's I don't know, it's interesting how, these animes were made 30, 35, 40, almost 40 years ago, and we're seeing the ripple effects today. So they saw way before anybody else did. And it's always that interesting question where we're coming up to that answer right now.
We're coming up to that crux is what, definitely, with AI, the way it's starting now and the way they're doing it now, you ask a lot of questions, about it. You think about how it affects, everyday life in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Right, and that's just, these are, again, the questions that Appleseed asks. These are the questions that Ghost in the Shell asks. These are also Battle Angel Lita. I mean, it's just those questions that, can we exist with technology, or will technology take over us?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be a new dawn of humans, or is this going to be the dawn of the machine? Well, again, Terminator.
That brings up another one that I think about.
Mm-hmm.
That came out. I don't remember. It's not an older one. It was actually a fairly not newer, but it came out around the same early 2000s, maybe right before. The Animatrix. That one was that one was very well done. I loved how they portrayed and showed different aspects of like the whole Matrix stuff, and the animation and the artwork of it was incredible.
And they had different animators on there too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, built in around the world of the Matrix. And yeah, it was, oh man, the Animatrix, that was such a good anthology, because it had the different interpretations of the Matrix.
Did we see that one? Was that you and me? Did we see that one in theaters?
I think it was only released on DVD, if I remember correctly.
Okay, for some reason I remember seeing that one in theaters with somebody.
Maybe they had a special presentation,
Maybe, possibly.
But I remember specifically that when you bought the Matrix movie, it came with the Animatrix.
Okay, maybe that's what it was then. I don't know why, for some reason it flagged in my head something about seeing it at Tinseltown or something. Or maybe it was we saw it at like Boomerang or one of the dollar movie theaters. They had it on, but nada. Can't confirm or deny that one, but yeah, no, definitely, and and that's what I loved about it. Like I've watched that one a couple times, even nowadays on streaming.
Right.
And that's one of those things, I guess, nowadays that's so nice, is the fact that you have that, we have that ability to look those up and see, some of these older ones actually that, we've talked about. Let's go ahead and let's do our Mount Rushmore.
Yikes. Yeah, I think I'll let you go first.
All right. Mine's interesting, and I'm actually questioning on one of them. I might change one of them possibly.
Okay.
So my first one is Akira. Akira will always be that number one, top first one, because of the memories. I think, watching it with you, and it's what started the whole, like, oh man, I've got to find more of these. My number two, Grave of the Fireflies.
My God, Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
If there's one anime I would only watch once, and I've only watched it once, that's the one. Mm-hmm. I've only seen it once, and it's scarring. Absolutely scarring.
I've watched it twice, once by myself and once with my wife. And it is not an anime like normal animes, but definitely that it is one of those that really makes a mark, and it leaves a scar in my brain, and it's not in a bad way. It is in a very, very good way. I love the story. It's just very traumatic too. It really does. It
is one of the most emotionally crushing movies I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's by Studio Ghibli. To me, it is the most emotionally driven animes that I've ever seen.
Right.
It's beautifully done. And that's why it's so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. But yeah, I've only seen it once, and that's all I needed to see.
Studio Ghibli is just such an amazing anime studio. You know,
Really
I would definitely, consider them as one of the top few.
Mhm.
But my next one, and this is where I have a little bit of a struggle. My next one, I'd probably have to say would be Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Ghost
Okay.
in the Shell, I loved the story. It really gets you thinking about that whole thing about, what if the memory could be put into a different body, and a robotic body.
Mhm.
What is the true identity? Can robots have an identity? And it was really just the real aspect of the way I think the characters were portrayed, I think was great, and that's what made it, just another one of those in my top 3. My last one was actually a toss-up. My last one, we didn't talk much about it, was what was a consideration was Wolf's Rain.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, Wolf's Rain was it's another one sort of like Grave of the Fireflies, where it's just such a traumatic one.
Mhm.
And I definitely think that it would be in my Mount Rushmore. The other one that I had in consideration for it.
Honorable mention. Okay.
Yeah, my other honorable mention really was Trigun.
Okay.
I mean, that's just because I loved Vash the Stampede. I loved everything that he just portrays, and he's such a good character. But his luck and the violence that sort of just ends up wherever he is just wonderful, and that's what drew that other one as my honorable mention.
Gotcha. So, for me, my Mount Rushmore is, of course, Akira.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 2, Ghost in the Shell. Number 3, Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
That character, the story, the world, everything about it. It's such an interesting character, and all the everything around it. Again, I highly recommend the books, because of course that's where the world is from. Watch the 2 movies, of course. Of course, I'm referring to the original Vampire Hunter D, and of course Vampire Hunter D 2, Bloodlines. Fantastic movie. My 4th one is one that we didn't have time to speak about, but it's again by Studio Ghibli, and that's Princess Mononoke.
Oh, dude, no, I agree.
Princess Mononoke.
I'm surprised we didn't talk about that one.
Yeah, Princess Mononoke is one of those animes that when you see it, it's just, again, it's about nature and our relationship with nature. What nature can do to us if we turn on it and we don't accept it. Just a fantastic anime all around. When I first saw it, my jaw dropped. The message in it, of course, was a message that we should treat nature better, we treat each other better, just be better people, don't suck, basically. I think Princess Mononoke is one of those ones that I think everybody needs to see, and depending on your interpretation, but that's my interpretation. Don't suck. Don't be a sucky person. Don't suck. Treat everybody equally.
You know what?
It's treat nature better. Yeah.
No, exactly. I agree. It's really what we all try to teach, our own. I definitely try to teach mine is, just be a good person. That is definitely. But no, I agree.
And my honorable mention, I was looking at it, I'm like, oh man, of all the animes that I've seen, which is the one that I would throw up there as my honorable mention? And when I say this one, It's one that I showed you. It's one that was really wild that when we saw it. Wicked City.
Wow.
I love Wicked City. That's an anime that's over the top. Human world, demon world. Can we coexist with these demons?
Right.
It's a wild anime. It's up there, with the Guyver. It's up there with, my goodness, what's the other one? Demon City. It's just one of those wild animes that when you first look at it, you think it's a creature feature, but it's a lot bigger than that. It has, again, questions of our own, not xenophobia.
Right. Yeah,
that's what it is. It comes out down to its xenophobia and what links we're going to go through in order to either, protect our relationship with these people or how we choose this path of destruction. It's just one of those two, and it's done in a way with these monsters, essentially, or this different dimension that they're from, and a really interesting entry in the world of anime, Wicked City.
Right. No, that I definitely would support that list 100%.
So yeah, as much as I was debating with it too, like I know there was Cowboy Bebop was one of those ones that I want to throw in there. Samurai Champloo was another one that I wanted to throw in there. Dragon Ball was another one. I mean, there's so many animes that you could just go through and you could say this and this and that and that, and yeah. I mean, it's just these interesting concepts. There's another one, of course, that I wanted to get to, but we just never got to, was Evangelion.
Yeah, that's another good one.
And Evangelion, oh my goodness, what a great anime that one is too. Again, it's that question. It's asking you that question of oneself or one's view of reality or one's view of understanding, and it's just interesting because, again, it goes pretty biblical on itself, where the bad guys are called angels, and their interpretation of angels come from the Bible, which has always been interesting to me, because in the Bible, angels are described very differently, and they put them in this anime. So yeah, highly recommend Evangelion, of course.
Awesome. Well, all of these are definitely personal memories that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, out there listening, I'm sure they definitely have their own, doorways that brought them into anime. What are some ways for them to go ahead and let us know how they, maybe found that first anime that they can, or what, what anime maybe emotionally destroyed them?
Yeah, like, just what made you feel something, or made you question some stuff, or whatever feeling it brought up to you. Just let us know. Again, you could follow us on Cutscenes and Clotheslines on Instagram. Follow us also on TikTok at same place. It's Cutscenes and Clotheslines. You could join our Discord community. We have a Discord now?
Actually, we've had that for a while.
We've had it for a while? Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I believe it's posted. If not, I'll make sure it's posted with these next few videos.
Okay. You can also find us on Spotify. We're on YouTube, or you can even email us you can find us on
you know what? I'm getting old.
cutscenesandclotheslines@gmail.com.
All right. Well, very good. So, Fernie, one of those final questions, of the night, and I think this is going to be the final lightning round. Here we go. Okay. Best soundtrack.
Best soundtrack?
Yeah.
It's hard because
I pick one. Only pick one.
You know what? I have it on CD. It's been in my memory for the longest time. Akira.
Very good, man. I agree. Definitely. Best hero.
Best hero. Oh man. Whoo! I mean, So many, but I mean,
Top of your choice. Pick one.
I want to go with D.
Well, that
Vampire Hunter
one's
D. D.
All
D.
right.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Best villain.
Best villain. Oh my God. I don't know. I mean, so many villains, so many really good villains too. Oh my God, you put me in a good spot here, man. You bastard.
No, I love it. I love it. So, okay, you know what? Hold on to that one. We'll come back to that one.
You know what? Okay. If I'm going to pick one, it's going to be from Ghost in the Shell.
The Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Unless, I mean, if you want to call him a villain, okay, but okay, I'll go with that. Yeah.
It was the antagonist. That's the way I would basically describe it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. But I mean, in second, I would have to go with the villains from Ninja Scroll.
That's an interesting one too.
Yeah.
See, for me, I would, and it brings back one of those whole things of would you really call him a villain though?
Mm-hmm.
Was Akira.
Well, I mean, if you read the manga, that would answer your question. But in the we're just talking about anime.
We're talking about the anime, not the manga. Yeah.
In the anime, it's he's a tragic character. Because they tested on him, they did all this stuff, and they basically made him. They tore his body apart. Mm-hmm. They tore the poor kid's body apart.
Yeah.
They studied it, so I think it's more of a tragic character than anything else. I don't see him as a villain.
So would he be considered the? Would he be considered the antagonist in it, or would he be?
The antagonist,
or would the antagonist be the government?
The government, okay. Absolutely, the government. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go, and would that for me that would that would be within the like top 3 of villains there, but yeah, no, definitely. How about someone who's never seen anime, best one to introduce them to?
I think it's always Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
Cowboy Bebop, or there are two animes that they're anthology ones that I highly recommend. I think you could see one of them on Prime or even on Crunchyroll. It's called Robot Circus and Neo Tokyo. They're both animated by the man that did Akira.
All right, interesting, very cool. I'm gonna have to check those out.
Absolutely. So yeah, I recommend those, or even Princess Mononoke. Absolutely.
Oh no, that one definitely. Actually, I think that's one that I introduced my daughter to, and she sort of was like, it was okay, and then now she watches quite a few of them.
I tried to introduce it to Victoria. Unfortunately, I think something happened where I think we never finished it. So, Victoria, I apologize firsthand on that. So that's my bad.
But yeah, so for me, anime changed what I expected from animation. It could be loud, it could be philosophical, it could be tragic, funny, stylish. It could be something that was just completely off the wall strange, and there's a few that I can think of right off the top of my head that we didn't talk about that, maybe we'll bring up in another episode or something to see. But what are you, for our next episode, what are we going to talk about?
Well, let me see here. I mean, there's so many topics.
Well,
So many topics.
do you want to do a wrestling topic?
We could do wrestling topics.
All right,
Yeah.
you know, so let's do. Do we want to do a certain pay-per-view or a certain year range of pay-per-views?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do.
All right, sounds like a
Yeah,
plan.
we could do that. Absolutely. Yeah, we could do that.
All right,
Absolutely.
so then sounds like the next episode we're going to be talking about some wrestling. So come back.
Elbows around.
We're going to be. I see a senton coming off the top rope. So definitely come back to Cutscenes and Clotheslines. We hope to definitely hear from everybody. Drop us an email. Shoot us a message on YouTube. Shoot us a message on Spotify if you want. Make sure that if you go on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, make sure that you give us a rating. Definitely let us know how we're doing. And I hope everyone remembers that here at Pot Scenes and Clotheslines. Oh yeah, that's my side project. Here at Cutscenes and Clothesline, this is a place that you come to where nostalgia we hit harder than a chair shot to the head.
And I should know.
I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you all for coming. Talk to you later.
Good night, y'all. Good night.